friends. If over the holidays you are not worried about going to the gym because you love it there, but you are worried about spending too much time at the buffet table because you also love it there, then this episode is for you. I'm sharing a gym girl holiday event cheat sheet that you can apply at the office party, with Christmas cookies, and at your in-laws. Let's get into it. So this is basically going to be a workshop that you can actually do in real time as you go through this. So have your notes app up or piece of paper so you can actually solve this problem right now within these couple of minutes. So the problems that come up for the fitness person, for someone like you like love to work out, you already eat generally healthy, but this time of year feels like, oh, I want to enjoy some more flexibility. There's better food. There's a lot more events, a lot more social events. So there's a lot more exposure to all these different foods. And it just feels like food and treats and celebrating all of that aligns with this time of the year. And it's cold, you're maybe not feeling like, okay, I'm not in these tiny clothes, so I just feel like I don't care about this as much right now. But you're like, but wait a minute, I want to still be well fueled, but I also want to, perform in the gym and make sure I'm getting the most out of my gym sessions. But I also don't want to gain body fat, and you don't want to like regress at all, because decreasing body fat is no walk in the park. Like, you don't want to add any more to what you want to decrease from next year if you do want to decrease next year and lean out next year. So you want to really maintain during this time and feel like you're going into these events like enjoying yourself and feeling like, okay, I'm getting to have these things that I don't normally have and attend these events that aren't normal, but at the same time, I'm not gaining body fat and I still feel in control and I still feel like well fueled. So the issue why so many can't create that is because there are so many events. I see the like memes that it's like the fitness memes that are like, Christmas is only one day of the year. And it's like, no, it's really not. There are so many things that go along with that. Like the office party, like your friend's group dinner, like your husband's party, your like husband's family, and then your family event. And then there's like the hot chocolate Christmas movie night that you do with your family. And then if you have school, like kids, there's a school event. And then there's a New Year's party. Like, it is so much more than just one day or like one meal. So there's that aspect of it. There's also lots of free food, treats, and drinks at all of these, or the expectation that you're drinking more or consuming more or going to be like having more treats. Also, the problem I see is we go into these events hungry. Either we expect to be fed and we're not, besides like tapas and treats, or we think the food's going to be better than it actually is in terms of like the quality, or we're not fed at all. I was just talking to a client about this, that she was like, I thought we were going to be fed, and then we weren't at all, and then I was starving. What do I do? Another thing that I see is leftovers. So whether you are like a family that gets together and then everyone takes home leftovers, or you're like out to dinner and you take home leftovers, like just a lot more leftovers than normal, and leftovers of not the highest quality food. Family traditions, that's something else that people run into, where you do a Christmas, what are the gingerbread houses? Maybe you do that together, or maybe there's like a bake-off, or maybe your like aunt's favorite pie that she makes, or you like all get together and go to this ice cream place. Like, there's all these different traditions that generally, especially in the US, are tied around with food. And another one is like, you don't want to be the weirdo who's ordering something different or who's not eating. That's a big problem that comes up, because everyone's going to be attending and doing the food and drink thing. And if you're not, it feels very like uncomfortable in your body. So these are all the things that I'm seeing. I know there's many more. Like, you could probably think through right now, like, what else is showing up for me? But probably a lot of these. So if any of these are showing up, it's very normal. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to share some strategy and some tactical things on how to like approach and handle the holidays. Like, this is your cheat sheet that you can actually workshop and do right now. So here's the first thing. There's 6 things. Ready? Oh, maybe 7. I think there's 7. Here is the first thing. Decide ahead of time which event you're going to be on with your nutrition and which events you're going to be off. So actually look at a calendar. I would do it like, even if you just map it out with like a marker and just put the boxes. And then I want you to put all of the events on there, or you do it on your like physical calendar and put all of the events on there. I want you to see it all, right? And then I want you to be able to count and be like, okay, yeah, I have 10 events to go to. This also would be a great exercise to be like, oh wait, I don't have to go to all these. Which ones do I not want to go to? But for this sake, I want you to then decide, all right, which one is it worth it to me to be off and enjoy also the food and drink there? And which one is it not? And I'm just going to enjoy the event. So for example, if you have kids and your like kids have a school party with like store-bought cookies and cake, like that's going to be a no for me. I'm going to be on with my nutrition and I'm not going to partake in that. It is just not worth it. I would just be doing it just because everyone's doing it and I'm like not really going to enjoy it. And I know it's not going to be good. However, if it's like, I don't know, like I imagine someone's like husband's work dinner. I think I've had this example before. That's why it's popping up. One of my clients, like husband's work dinner, it's taking them to like some really delicious dinner. Let's just say it's like Ruth Chris. And then like after that you're going to a play. Like, yeah, I'm probably gonna enjoy that because it's gonna be like good quality food. Even like the protein's gonna be like delicious and everything. And I'll probably get the drinks and the dessert there, right? So kind of go through each of these events and decide, am I gonna be on and am I gonna be off? And I could say even there might even be a middle one where you're like, I'm gonna be on except for X thing. So I would say there's kind of 3 options: on, off, or I'm gonna partake in this like one thing. All right, so that's the first thing you want to do. You can pause it and you can do that right now. Take a couple seconds or minutes. The second thing is you want to identify your vices right now. So your vices are things that you're like, I know that this thing I love, that's like kind of like a guilty pleasure that I'm like overindulging, or I like to have, or I know it's bad, but it doesn't matter, I still want it. Like identify those now that you like forecast yourself over the like holidays that you know show up for you, and then include them in, like plan on having them, but have them with guardrails. What I mean with guardrails is it's not like a free-for-all that, let's say I'm like wine, right? It's like, I know that's my holiday vice. All right, well, I'm not going to have wine every single night. I'm going to have wine. I'm going to have a glass of wine 4 glasses per week, right? Put that guardrail up. Let's say your vice is the Christmas cookies. Okay, then maybe I'm going from I'm having Christmas cookies whenever I want to, no, I'm only having Christmas cookies on the weekends, right? Like put the guardrail up. Or maybe it's the Starbucks mocha Christmas cookie latte. I know they have like a thousand things. So maybe it's like, okay, I'm going to get that, but I'm going to look up a better alternative how to mix it. Instead of the full syrup, I'm going to get the sugar-free syrup. Instead of, like I tend to get quarter syrup because it's just way too sweet. So maybe that's an option. So think through alternatives. These are just a few examples, but you can pause it and list out like, what are my vices? What are the guardrails that I'm putting up on that? And here's a little tip. The vices is the event. It is the moment. It is the activity. So if you are doing it, like if you're drinking your glass of wine, that is the only thing you're doing, and you're fully enjoying it and you're fully present with it. You're not stacking a bunch of pleasures because you're not going to fully enjoy it and realize like you're having it. So you're not going to have like the wine while you're also having the popcorn, while you're also trying to talk to your friend, while you're also like cooking at the same time. Like you are like sitting and enjoying it. Like you're fully doing that activity. Same thing with like, you're not having like the full meal in the cake as you're having the wine. Like you're having the wine or you're having the meal. Like it's like separating it out so you can just fully enjoy it. Or this also may be like where you have, okay, I'm having a glass of wine, but then in between that, when we are doing the, let's say like I'm opening gifts, I'm having water then. and then I go back to my like glass of wine. So you want to be strategic and intentional with your vices because it is the activity. Enjoy it as such. So along the same lines, number 3, don't let food and drink be the main event. Go through all of these events that you have and identify like what actually is the purpose of this here, and like what is actually like the joy and the excitement out of it. So maybe for like Secret Santa, it's actually just like hanging out with your friends and laughing and joking, and maybe it's the outfit, maybe it's the gift, like you're so excited about giving the gift or getting the gift, like that is the main event. Identify that for each thing that you have. Maybe it's like cuddling on the couch with your kid for movie night, right? Like that's the main event of it. Or maybe it's like the actual movie. I had a client who I saw, she had like a Christmas like friends dinner, and I saw their photos and they look so cute. They're all dressed up. They're like taking photos together and they're adorable. And then they like made this like elaborate like centerpiece. It wasn't super elaborate, but it was beautiful. And so they like made it like special, the centerpiece for like the dinner they were making, and the centerpiece caught on fire. And then they had to call the fire trucks in, and then they have pictures with the firemen. Like it is so good. It is so funny. But I was laughing and like thinking about it. Like there was not one picture in her story of like the food. And it wasn't like it didn't seem like at least the food was the main event, because they were like just together having the best time ever, creating ridiculous memories. So that's number 3. Identify what actually is the main event and really lean into that, because it's probably not food and drinking. All right. Number 4. This I feel like we like tend to forget, but it's like a great option. I've leaned on it a lot. You don't have to eat or drink it all. I think I gave this example last week where I went to a grand opening at a gym we're part of, and I got a beer and I had like a third of it, maybe half of it. And then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And unless it's my favorite dessert and I've planned for it, really, unless it's a cheesecake and I'm like, oh, I'm getting the cheesecake tonight, I've really like thought about it and desired it, I will never eat a whole dessert, like especially like a cake, right? Because I know a whole slice of cake is at least 50 grams of carbs and 50 grams of fat. So I know that that's like 60 calories on average or more. Or sorry, 600 on average or more. So I know if I eat that, unless I don't eat my full meal, then I'm going to be gaining like body fat. And it's like a decision right in front of me. I'm like, well, there's no way I'm not going to eat a full meal, because I'll be so hangry and starving and miserable that I know I can have a couple bites of this and really sit and enjoy these couple of bites and then be good with it, because I would rather have my full meal and I'd rather not gain body fat. So that's number 4. You don't have to eat or drink it all. And on that same line, number 5, don't go to events hungry. I feel like this is a common one, but sometimes we forget. And so you want to think of it now, like what is going to be my protein source before I go to these events. So have a satisfying like protein-based meal or snack before going into this. So I'll give you 2. I'll give you a sweet one and a savory one. For the sweet one, like yogurt or coconut, or a Greek yogurt or coconut yogurt mixed with like chocolate protein powder or vanilla. I love the CBum one. It is so delicious. But it gets you a ton of protein, right? Mixed with berries. So good. So I'd say that's like a sweet one that's filling. Or a savory one would be a chicken salad. So lots of like, I made this the other day actually. Lots of greens, cucumbers, bell peppers, sprouts. So like fiber and protein based. And then with grilled chicken mixed in there with vinegar. It's super like high protein, but low calorie, but higher fiber. It's delicious and filling. So those would be my 2 options, but get in a protein-based snack or meal before going to these events. All right, number 6, another tactical one. So really in terms of macros, in terms of calories and gaining body fat, the main problem with the events and the food and the drink is going to be mainly carbs and fats, right? Especially fats and overeating on fats. So what I suggest doing beforehand is focused on high protein, getting in almost all of your protein. Maybe you only have like 10 or 20 grams left of protein on your day before the event. So getting in all of your protein, and then low to no fat. So instead of doing eggs in the morning, you do egg whites, or removing your peanut butter from your snack, or removing your nuts from your snack, removing the dark chocolate, removing the olive oils or the butters, like removing all of the fats from any meals before the event, because likely if you're going to be eating at the event, it's going to be so much higher in fat that it'll cover your fat for the day. So low to no fats. And then for carbs, I would still eat carbs. If not, you're going to be like really hangry once you get to the event, and that's a whole nother scenario. But instead, I would just reduce your portion by like a third, maybe half, but I would say like a third. So instead of getting your like cup of rice at lunch, maybe you get 3/4 cup or a half cup at rice at lunch. And you could offset that by offset the volume by increasing the vegetable portion. So this is why in Create Your Shape, I teach the daily structure and then how to create your plate, because when I say tips like this, they can immediately just be like in their head, just be like, okay, got that. I know exactly how I do it. If you don't have your daily structure set up and you know how to create your plate on the fly, things like this, it sounds good in theory, but it makes it much more difficult to actually remember and implement, where I know my ladies listening to this are like, oh yeah, okay, got that. That's simple, that's easy, because we emphasize so much on the structure without even tracking macros or having to do a math problem. So that's my suggestion. Beforehand, high protein, hit almost your protein, low to no fat, make those replacements or removals throughout the day, and then reduce carbs by a third or up to a half. All right, number 7. This one is a little less tactical and more mindset, but probably the most impactful one, because I was just coaching on this. So number 7 is be the weirdo. The weirdos are winning. What I mean by that is you want someone to ask you what you're doing and why you're doing it different than them. That means that you are doing it right. Because if you are doing what everyone else is doing at these events, then you're going to be gaining body fat like everyone else. Everyone else, every holiday, they gain, I think it's 5 to 15 pounds every holiday season, right? So that's on average. So if you're doing what everyone else is doing, then that will be you as well. So you want someone to ask you. If someone asks you, you know that you're doing it right because you know you're doing something different. The other thing with that is, if you feel weird, if you feel uncomfortable when you are doing something different, whether it's because someone's asking you or questioning you or making fun of you, I see it all, especially with family and friends, they are going to say something, right? Especially if you're doing something differently. But if you feel uncomfortable or you feel weird or strange when that happens, whether they say something or not, or you're just doing something differently, that is also a really good sign, because that means that you are also doing something differently for yourself and you're creating a change. That is going to happen as you transition from what your current routine is to that next level. It's there's a transition period where you feel uncomfortable with the actions, people are saying things, that is part of it. So if that's happening, you can say, oh, this is a good sign. It means I'm onto it. So be the weirdo, but also be prepared to be the weirdo. Come with a default answer or comment for when somebody says something to you, because they're going to. And so the more you can practice or kind of think through, wait, why am I doing this? How can I make this more comfortable for me, or feel more confident in what I'm doing, the easier it's going to get. I remember at the beginning, I played around with making fun of myself and kind of joking along, making a joke out of it. I've played along, or I've even said oh, I just feel good doing this, or oh no, I'm on this nutrition kick and I'm loving it. Just have some default answers that you can go through for to expect when that happens. All right, so that's 7 tips in the cheat sheet for your holiday events. Being a gym girl, because you know you've got the gym down, you're going to be pushing in the gym, you're going to use the extra fuel in the gym, but this is to help you to manage all those events when it comes to the food and the drinks. Let me know what you found most beneficial here, and I will see you next week on the Create Your Shape podcast.